Hi, my name is Marie Toole, and I'm an AARP Colorado volunteer. AARP can see and feel the trends. People 50 and older are more active both physically and mentally than ever before. They aren't slowing down. In fact, they're preparing themselves to do more of the things they love. So many older adults are exercising and eating right daily. They're taking the time to learn new things, and they know the importance of life balance, making sure that leisure and fun are significant parts of their healthy lifestyle. As part of that get up and go attitude, we're hosting webinars like Eating More Energy with culinary nutritionist Michelle Fox, where we can discover ways to keep our nutrition in check so that as we age, we can continue to do the things we love to do without limitations. Tonight, Michelle will show us how to make a vegetable fried rice along with a special dessert. We'll also explore the powerhouse nutrients in seasonal produce. Did you know that August is a great month for cabbage, carrots, and apples? In that lively spirit, we welcome you to enjoy our Eating for More Energy with Michelle Fox, where we hope you learn something new and exciting. We want you to enjoy yourself, relax, and have some fun. Please note that we are offering closed caption option this evening. If you're interested in that option, click on the More at the bottom of the Tools ribbon located on the right-hand side and click on Captions. We will be sending this recording out to everyone that registered along with a PDF of the recipe. If you'd like to hear more about healthy living and nutrition, please check out our website, www.aarp.org/food/healthy eating. We look forward to connecting with you. And here's my friend, Michelle Fox.
Thank you so much, Marie. And thank you, community, for showing up. Oh my goodness. Before we hit record, we got word that over 700 people signed up for tonight. So thank you all. Thank you for showing up for AARP. And most important, thank you for showing up for you. We're going to get into it tonight. I know that when it comes to summer and cooking, they don't always go hand in hand. And so when I was planning ahead for this menu, I specifically wanted to get something that tasted light, but that is also still, of course, packed with nutrients. So we're going to jump in a moment. I see the chat box lighting up. So that's a great place for me to start, which is a few housekeeping items. Go ahead and continue to say hi in the chat box because tonight is all about community. As you can see, I get very excited sometimes. And if I talk too fast and you miss something, put the question in the chat box and then somebody else who's also in the community who may read that may already know the answer. Help each other out, like love each other up in this chat box. Of course, at the end, I always save time for Q&A. So I'm happy to answer more questions at that point. Also want to let you know, if you do see me looking here, it's just because I've got my second screen on this side. I also have my recipe. So please know you still have 100% of my attention, no matter where I'm looking this evening. You've got me for the next 60 minutes. Also, the recipe, I created a printable version for you. So we may put that in the chat box if we have that, but if not, no worries. You will absolutely get a copy in your inbox since you registered for this webinar. Let's see. As you are saying hello, and Allison just said she's looking for the recipe right now, so I'm sure we'll have it before the end of this. But as you are saying hello, I would love to know, is anybody gardening this summer? Let me know in the chat box, either yes, I'm gardening, or ooh, I just picked some, snap peas out of my garden, or ooh, I'm cooking with some of my produce tonight. I would love to know if we have any gardeners in the house. And if you're not, let me know that as well. Let's see. So Jeannie's doing tomatoes. Awesome. Oh, and zucchini. Perfect. Zucchini will be excellent in tonight's dish. I'm actually doing zucchini as well. Bonilla is doing basil. It's one of my favorite herbs. Ooh, Valerie's doing microgreens. That actually just gave me goosebumps. That must mean I'm going to have to try that next summer. I have not tried microgreens yet, but they are so packed with nutrients. So good for you. Let's see. Barbara says she's doing the farmer's marketing. Good for you. I've only been to one this season. So thank you for saying that. I'm going to actually try to go this coming weekend. So you can hold me to that. Let's see. I'll read two more and then we will jump right in. Let's see. Helen is doing basil, thyme, garlic, chives, and oregano. Oh, can I come over now? Like that sounds amazing. And let's see, Rachel. Oh, Rachel Ray. Not Ray. Rachel Ray. That's a different Rachel. I call you Rach. Rach, great to have you here. And it sounds like you've been going to the farmer's market as well. So good job. I'm so glad you're here this evening. We are making, as you saw in the title, a veggie fried rice with a very delicious dessert. So first things first, let's do the berries because it might take time for the juices to kind of marinate together. So we're gonna put the berries together, put them to the side, make our veggie fried rice, and then we're gonna make a special coconut whip at the end to put on top of our berry dessert. So if you're cooking with me, grab out your fruit. I can tell you, I already quartered my strawberries just because I knew there's going to be a lot of chopping tonight and I want to do that with you together. But as I said, we only have 60 minutes together, so I want to make the most of our time. In the recipe and or the list that you have, I listed blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, and raspberries. This girl could not find blackberries at the store yesterday. And so sadly, tear. Mine won't have any blackberries, but I do, as you can see, I've got my strawberries. I have my organic blueberries. Can anybody, whether you're cooking with me tonight or not, put it in the chat. Why might I be very excited by organic, keyword, blueberries? What are some of the nutrients and or reasons why we want organic blueberries in our diets? Let's see. It sounds like Martin says, I can hear you, but I cannot see you. So I'm wondering if somebody maybe on the tech team can help out Martin, because I definitely want you a part of this. Let's see if anybody else is having the same issue. Okay, looks like everybody else is okay. All right, so Joyce, yes, no pesticides. Susan, one of the dirty dozen. Yep, back to the pesticides. Good job. And let's see if anybody else had something. No pesticides. Okay, very good. Yes. And for my friends who may be menopausal and or perimenopausal, hopefully you came to our nutrition workshop last month. But if not, just so you know, any person, whether you're in a male body or a female body, we are going through significant hormonal changes, typically after we turn the age of 40 for a lot of us. And so those pesticides, yes, they're not really good for anybody, but specifically if you're going through rapid hormonal change, it really can mess with our brains and the hormone cascade. So good job. Okay, so I just poured in my organic blueberries and then my raspberries, also organic. You won't be surprised to know. For my friends who don't have organic, of course, no judgment here. And, maybe just next time you might want to look for the organic. Sometimes I get a little pushback saying, oh, but Michelle, organic's more expensive. And what I always like to push back and say, it might be a little more expensive up front, but it's going to save you a lot of money in medical bills down the road. And as you know, here at AARP, we are all about healthy and graceful and fun aging. And so I am doing my part to make sure that your aging can be enjoyable. All right, so hopefully you're either quartering and or having your strawberries, and then just put them all in a bowl and just lightly stir them so that the juices get a chance to marinate all together. Beautiful. And then I'll just pause. So one, you can take in the beauty of the summer. I will say I actually did not grow any of this in my garden. I was optimistic when I planned this menu at the top of the year. Our program director, Allison, please give her a hand clap if you can, either now or later. She's amazing. And she helped me get the menu together. And when I was thinking of July, I'm like, of course I'll have a few raspberry bushes. I'm here in Denver, Colorado. So we definitely take advantage of our very short growing season, but this season, not so much. So maybe next year. So I did get all of these organic berries from the store. So I'm going to put these to the side for now. And then hopefully, for my friends who are cooking with me, hopefully you saw on the recipe that we want our rice already cooked for this recipe. If you haven't, No worries, you won't be left behind. Go ahead and cook your rice now. I'm not gonna leave too much space for that just because there are so many things to chop and to dice. And of course, you're in your own kitchen, so hopefully you'll be taking your time. But for my friends who did read ahead and you see that the rice needs to be cooked already, I did say chilled because when we make fried rice, if the rice is chilled, it's gonna hold on to some of that moisture. Sometimes we can make fried rice and it gets a little dry. And I actually have water on the side just in case we need to like add a little bit more, but we want chilled rice. The other thing I wanted to mention about the rice is you'll notice in the recipe, I said 2 cups of cooked rice. Rice, as you know, is a carb. And so part of it being a carb, it expands with the water almost twice the size. So we don't want 2 cups of rice that hasn't been cooked. We want it already cooked and then 2 cups. I hope that makes sense. So here we go. Okay, let me double check on the chat before I move forward. Mary says organic is better for your thyroid. Yes, Mary, nicely done. Yay, and Sherry says fruit is one of her favorite salads. Love it, love it, love it. Let's see. Okay, and some tech things. Awesome. Okay. So
Michelle,
yes.
Excuse me, the voice from above.
Yes.
So Deborah had a question regarding, she wanted to know if you could use frozen fruits in the recipe.
I mean, you can. I think they might be a little soggy because the end result is going to be, I'll give you a heads up since you asked, and I so appreciate you asking, but I got like a fun little glass. I always recommend people having fun. So we're just going to have a fun little glass, put in our fruit, and then put our coconut whip on top. I think the frozen, of course, especially if you love that frozen texture and a little bit of extra coolness for the summer, sure. I don't know. I think the texture is just going to be very different. So hope that helps. But Allison, while you're here, is there any other question I missed before we move on to chopping?
There was one more.
Okay.
I just have to find it. So Yvette asked if all the berries were added to the bowl.
Yes, thanks for asking, Yvette. So yes, we want all the berries added so that they can meld together and their juices can meld together. So yes, and if you are one of my lucky friends who found the blackberries, kudos. Blackberries, actually. Oh, yes.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to let Helene know that I re-put the recipe in the chat, but with everybody chatting, it keeps going up to the middle. So just scroll up and you'll find it.
Love it.
Okay,
all
now
right. So what I was going to say is just the blackberries are amazing, amazing sources of antioxidants. And they have some beautiful hormonal balancing properties as well. So specifically for my women who are going through menopause, blackberries are a really nice treat because I often ask my friends who might be struggling with menopausal symptoms to stay away from sugar for a while, and that includes some of the fruit. However, blackberries, because of their constitution, I'm sorry, I don't know all the science. I just know that because of their constitution, they do have some hormonal balancing properties. So that's a little treat for me sometimes when I find them. I get very excited. All right, so I have moved on. I'm going to start chopping my veggies. So hopefully you saw on the recipe, I said 2 to 3 cups total of veggies that you feel that you might want in your fried rice. And that's one thing I love about this recipe is you can mix and match. So your fried rice today might taste very different than your fried rice, let's say next Thursday, if you make this dish again. For me tonight, I am going to do zucchini. I'm going to do some snap peas. I literally snap them in half and put them in the bowl. And also some green peas, some frozen green peas I put in this bowl. And then we're going to do, I'm going to do a red pepper. I will chop that. I'll chop up some garlic with you, some onion, and then also some green onion. And then I have a few mung bean sprouts for a topping at the end. Let's see, that felt like a little whoosh. I'm going to double check the comments just in case, because I know the chopping can get a little loud. Let's see.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Sorry. One question from Teresa Davis. She wanted to know if you can substitute with cauliflower rice.
Yes. And Teresa, well, pause for that. You get an A+, because absolutely, I love that question. Yes. So my friends who may be on paleo or keto, or just trying to keep your carbs low, cauli rice is an amazing substitute. And also, maybe you're not on any diet. Maybe you just like the way cauliflower tastes, which I do. But yes, cauliflower is chock full of vitamin C. It's an amazing source of fiber. And so absolutely, you can substitute cauli rice for the brown rice and or white rice, and or even quinoa would be delicious as a base for this dish. So yes, thank you for interrupting me for that question. We can always be interrupted for cauliflower. So with my zucchini, I'm just kind of, I was gonna say quartering it, but it's a little bit tinier. I'm eighthing it. I'm eighthing the zucchini. I'm gonna put it in my bowl with my other green veggies over here. And you, if you are cooking with me, please go ahead and start chopping your veggies into bite-sized pieces. And as I'm chopping my zucchini, can anybody in the chat tell me some of the benefits of zucchini, how it is serving our bodies?
Oh, I have two more questions while you guys are thinking about that.
Yes.
One is, do mung bean sprouts actually have a taste in this dish? Will it really add flavor?
Love that. And the answer is not to me. I don't know how sensitive your taste buds are to my person who asked the question, but I don't think mung bean sprouts have a lot of flavor. I like them because they have a nice little crunch at the end. And so whether you're actually cooking them in your stir fry or putting them on as a topping at the very end, that's actually what I'm going to do. I'm not going to cook them today, but in some dishes I have cooked them and I really don't think they add much flavor. I just like them for texture. And then of course the nutritional benefits. Awesome question.
Oh, and I have one more.
Yes.
Oh, well, now I have two more.
Bring them on. I love this community. You guys are on it tonight. I'm with
Barbara asked if the recipe mentioned tofu. How much tofu?
Yeah, so the tofu would be towards the end because we don't want it to break up with all the stirring we're about to do, which by the way, stretch the arms, stretch the hands if you need to, because stirring is happening. But the tofu, I would say maybe like a handful. And with that, because actually that makes me pause, the dish I'm making tonight and the recipe we have is for 4 servings. And when I say 4 servings, that's like 4 bowls that hopefully will fill you up. So depending on the amount of fried rice you're making, I would just kind of eyeball it. But I would say maybe like a quarter of your volume. So maybe if you have 2 cups of rice, maybe just do, what would that, now you're making me do math. Maybe 1/2 cup tofu. I think that would be a great ratio. Thank you for asking.
Perfect.
What else, Allison? Bring it. Bring the questions.
Then we have another question from Melinda. Sorry, I cut your name off. What are the health benefits of the mung bean sprouts?
Sorry, I just did a total faux pas as a presenter. I stuck food in my mouth. I will answer about mung beans in 2 seconds. I will tell you also, side note, it is so hard for me to cut into a red pepper and not just put it in my mouth. Like my body craves red peppers. I don't know if you have a food. You're welcome to put it in the comments for my friends who are watching. If you have a food that your body just naturally leans to, I will tell you, for me, with the red pepper, it's so full of vitamin C. It like guards me from allergy season and also from getting the sniffles. And so anytime I see a red pepper, I'm like, okay, yes, please. And they're just so delicious. So back to the mung beans. So the mung bean sprouts, they are full of protein, believe it or not. It's an awesome source of vegetable protein. They also have magnesium. So I'm pausing because they're not mushrooms, of course, but the way they're grown, sometimes, like, you do have to be careful because sometimes they do have mold, and I want to be careful with my wording because it's not, I will just say, read the packaging closely, but some mung beans can be prone to mold, similar to mushrooms. But if you're getting it from a clean source and a source that you trust, then they should be perfectly fine and healthy for you. So yes, protein and magnesium in the mung beans. Bring them. Do I have more questions?
Nope, I think I'm all caught up. Just, you got a whole lot of red pepper fans.
Let's see. Oh, and Gay says, I love raw red cabbage. Do you know, just the other night, I was having a little tummy ache. I was trying a new dish. It did not agree with me. I naturally gravitated to some red cabbage I had. Stomach ache literally went away in about 2 minutes. So I'm with you, Gay. Nice. And in case you can't see or tell what I'm doing, I'm just chopping up my red pepper in bite-sized pieces, and I'm including it in my larger bowl with my other green veggies. So far we've got zucchini, snow peas, and frozen green peas in this bowl. So I'm adding the entire red pepper, again, just bite-sized pieces, into that bowl as well. And I'm also doing a time check. Oh, good. Okay, so we are right on. And I'll also do a little check on the comments. Let's see. Peg's asking, does it matter if the pepper has 3 or 4 bumps on the bottom? It does not, actually. And if you mean bumps by like these little bumps, hopefully that's what you mean. But if you're meaning like, actually, yeah, would you be willing to clarify that, Peg? So I wanna be of service to you. But I can tell you, I am a fan of ugly vegetables. I know a friend of mine was recently telling me, I guess there's a company who literally goes to grocery stores to grab the ugly vegetables because I guess a lot of stores throw them out because consumers can be so picky. But I'm like, a vegetable is a vegetable. Like, don't get rid of the ugly vegetables. Those have nutrients in them that our bodies crave. So if it's an aesthetic thing that you're asking me about, Peg, I'm going to tell you, yes, I want you eating that pepper no matter how many bumps it has. But if it's like a moldy bump or like a bruised bump, then I would just cut around those bumps.
He said that's what she meant. It sounds like it was aesthetic. And she saw something about 1 with 4 being sweeter.
Oh, and that's actually news to me. If that's a thing, then I'll believe you. Perhaps I need to do a little more research about that. Thank you for the heads up. I will check that out because I do love a good sweet red pepper for sure. Okay. Last but not least, for my veggie dish, I am gonna put some green onions here. Green onions. That was my brain crashing. I was saying green onions, but I was also gonna say here, I want to show you, I love to store my green onion in the fridge with about 2 inches of water in a glass jar, because this, my friends, keeps them fresher for longer. You can keep this in the fridge for probably up to 2 weeks and you'll still have yummy, delicious, fresh green onion. So for our recipe, we're gonna split them in half. So I'm gonna save the white parts to saute with our onion and our garlic. And then the green parts will go in with the rest of the veggies, as far as the red pepper, the zucchini, and the snap peas. So let me just cut them this way for now. I'm gonna put the whites to the side. And then the green pieces, again, I'm just gonna chop into bite-sized, gorgeous little pieces. And the green pepper is in the allium family. Can anybody tell me in the comments what else is in the allium family? And then, of course, bonus points if you can tell me why we want to ingest the allium family as much as possible. So Nzinga, yes, garlic is part of the allium family. Bonilla, yes. Onion, garlic, leeks, yes. Debbie, nicely done. Garlic, garlic. Oh, good job. Yes. Okay, this community knows what's up. And then Sandy says because they are antioxidants. Yes. The shallots, yes. Oh, I'm loving this community. Absolutely. Yes, the allium family is all the above. It's going to be our onions, our garlic, our green onion, the shallots, and the allium family. As you can tell, they're all root vegetables. So one, I like to think spiritually and physically, they're grounding on our bodies, but they're also amazing at warding off colds and also great to load up on when we're in allergy season. So we have that. Okay, now let's get to the garlic. I'm kind of going slow because when it comes to onions, I'm a bit of a wimp, and I will be putting on my onion goggles because it does protect my very sensitive eyes. So for this recipe, I asked for 3 garlic cloves. I know some of us here love garlic, so add more if you want. Some of us do not love it. Leave it out if you want. It'll still be delicious. I'm just cutting off the rough edges. And then I'll turn my knife sideways and kind of smash down on the garlic to make it easier to peel. So just turning my knife parallel and using the palm of my hand. Oh, and there went a flying garlic, pardon me. You never know what could happen in the kitchen, and the skin's still on. So 5-second rule absolutely applies here. It's also a great time to say what I often say, which is there's no such thing as perfection with culinary nutrition. The only thing that's perfect is getting that nutrition in our bodies. So here we go. Okay, we got the third one. And if you've noticed, I have a little, I like to call this like my refuse bowl here. This is not just for show. I have this bowl when I'm cooking for my family because it's just nice to be able to put my trash in one place. And so just a hip tip for maybe some of my beginner cooks, and or if you needed a reminder, just to have a nice, easy place to put the extras away so you're not going back and forth to the trash. My trash can is right there. So I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do, get the steps going back and forth, but for the most part, I like having a bowl where I can just easily get rid of the extras. As I'm peeling this garlic, let's see. Bonilla says, great idea, yay. Sherry says, I want to grow my own onions with those roots. I love it, love it, love it. Let's see, and how much chicken would I add to this recipe? I would say like 1 serving, meaning like 1 chicken breast perhaps, and or maybe 2 chicken thighs chopped up. And I, for the most part, would recommend cooking it on the side and then maybe adding the chicken towards the end of the stir fry. So love the question. And then also play with it for my meat eaters. Maybe you want to do ground lamb one time. That could be delicious, or even ground beef, or perhaps turkey in the stir fry. I think all that could be absolutely delicious. I specifically did not add any meat tonight just because I think this might be our 8th or 9th cooking demonstration together. I don't know, I have to go back and look, but I always have meat, and there's always like a handful of vegetarians who are like, hey, what about me? And so here we are for you, my vegetarian friends. And for my my meat eaters, I will say my fellow meat eaters, of course, add the meat that makes sense to you. Or you could even do it on the side. Maybe you could like grill a piece of chicken on the side. That could work as well. All right, so I am just mincing up some garlic, and I see the chat box going, so I'll look up as soon as I finish to make sure I do not cut my fingers. It's another big rule in my kitchen. No blood. Nobody gets hurt in this kitchen. And then, of course, the other rule is nobody goes hungry. We always find something to eat. Okay, so I'm going to move the garlic to the side. And let's see what we have. Oh, good. So you guys are. Oh, I love it. Yes. And Francis is talking about shrimp. Oh, that would be delicious with this meal. Awesome. Oh, and Zinga says Rachel Ray uses the bowl too for the extras. Nicely done. Good job, Rachel Ray. Okay. And so now with the white parts of the green onion, I'm going to do very similar as with the green parts. I'm just going to do kind of diced size. And of course, bite size. We want this to be easy to scoop up with a fork or scoop up with the chopsticks, whatever utensils you are using tonight. And then I will move that to the side. And then last but not least, the onion. Here come the onion goggles. This is where you are allowed to laugh at me because I'll be laughing at me. Okay. So whether or not you want onion goggles, they're actually pretty cheap. I have them on my shop page on my website, but you can find them on Amazon. I think I paid maybe $15, but if you are also sensitive, you can just put on like ski goggles. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but I am going to protect my eyes. That part I'm okay advocating for. So with the onion, I'm choosing a white onion for this recipe tonight. And we are going to just chop it. So this is, again, where my motto of no such thing as perfection with culinary nutrition comes in. They don't have to be perfect cuts. It can absolutely be coarsely chopped. Again, we're just going for bite-sized pieces to make it easy to get in our mouths. Let's see here.
So Michelle, while you're doing that,
Yeah.
we have some people that are sending messages to the hosts and panelists, which I don't know if you're getting those, but we have one comment that says that try holding your breath if your sinuses are sensitive to onions. And then they also mentioned that when you're chopping garlic, the garlic skin comes off really easy when you use the flat side of your knife and push on it as if sliding. So I wanted to pass that tip on. And then Ricky said a while back, a few minutes ago, that she also chops up and eats the roots of the green onions. In macrobiotics, they learned that the area where the roots meet the white part of the onion is very healthy. So she chops that up and includes that in recipes. And then finally, I don't know if I asked you this already, but Rosalind would like to know if you can use 90-second cooked rice, or do you prefer cooking raw rice?
Yeah, so I would say, of course, yes. However, with the 90-second cooked rice, it might dry up really fast. And so as you're doing the stir fry, just keep an eye on it and have a little bit of water on the side in case you need to keep adding like a tablespoon in at a time. That'd be my only warning with that, but absolutely.
Okay, and then actually this is the finally. Pat would like to know, what kind of knife do you recommend for chopping?
A sharp knife. And I'm being a little facetious with that just because I will tell you, the running joke in our family is that I married my husband just because he had his own knife set. You can see it right behind us. Because before I met him, and I mean, I've been cooking all my life, I had like one kind of dingy knife, and he really laughed at me when he saw it. I'm like, it gets the job done. So, it gets the job done. However, if you find yourself more in the kitchen, I absolutely recommend you treat yourself. And so you go to like I don't know, a Crate and Barrel or any type of store that actually carries these, and you want to see what works for the weight of your hand. So this is a chef's knife, and it just so happened that I loved it. It was already my husband's, but now it's mine. But you want to look at the weight. The salesperson should be able to walk you through, the weight, how it feels. But also the width as well. So you just want to see what works best for your body and for your hands. So I hope that helps. Oops. This onion's being a little tricky with me. I see it still has another layer that's going to be a little hard if I leave that on. So I'm going to take off anything that's not going to be appealing in this stir fry. And as you can see with the pieces, like, again, I'm not doing a small chop. It truly is a coarse chop I'm doing here with the onions. At the time, oh yay, we're doing well with the time. And I don't know if you noticed, but I turned my pot on because the demo stove takes a bit to warm up compared to the gas stove behind me.
So back to the knife thing, this is very interesting. Donna was mentioning that Williams and Sonoma will give you a free knife lesson to help you determine the knife for you. Who knew?
That is great to know. And I love that store.
Mm-hmm.
So wonderful. Thank you for that hip tip, Donna. I really appreciate that. Okay, so it looks like this should be warm enough. I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Might be a little bit more, but you can never have too much of coconut oil. I also have my avocado oil here if I need it later, but both of those oils are very brain supportive. So I love getting this healthy fat in my body, in my family's body. So as that heats up, just want to double check, we've got the onion, the white parts of the green onion, the garlic, and I feel like I'm missing something. Let's see. Onion, green onion, garlic. Oh, that's it. Getting ahead of myself. And let's see if it's warm enough. Oh, yeah. All right. Get ready for the sizzle. I'm going to grab a little scraper so that I don't dull my knife by using the back side of my knife. I'm going to use a proper scraper. Be a proper chef in the kitchen today.
So Michelle, while you're doing that, we have lots of oil questions coming
I
in.
had a feeling that usually comes up. I was like, I should have done a countdown, like 3, 2, 1. Okay, go for it.
Okay, I kind of feel like I know the answer, but I'll let you say. So would avocado oil be, is that what you just put in there? Is avocado oil?
Uh-oh, you know what? Sounds like you're cutting out, but I think it's probably the sizzle. So let me see if I can read it with you.
Okay, so Kelly would like to know if the ghee will work.
That would be delicious. And also ghee is very brain supportive. So awesome choice. Yes.
And then somebody was saying that they would like to try avocado oil.
Awesome.
Yeah, I figured you would like that too.
Yes.
And now we're talking about coconut oil. So I have a terrible mouse.
Yes. my brain's kind of pausing. With the coconut oil, it has a microbial. So coconut oil, in addition to it being supportive to our brains, it also has an antimicrobial element to it. So it's amazing at cleansing and detoxing for our bodies as well.
So Linda has a great question. She wants to know if it's okay to have coconut oil / milk if you have cholesterol issues.
Yes, love that question. And I'm going to answer it in two ways, Linda. I will start off by saying, one, the disclaimer that I always have to say, which is I am a nutritionist. And so anytime you do want to make a big change with your body, of course, please talk to your medical professional. Tonight's information is for education and for entertainment purposes. So with that disclaimer, the second part, I will say, I am a believer in the research that I do and for my own body that dairy actually is really not good for any of our bodies. However, you asked about coconut oil. Oh, you said coconut oil / milk. Okay, so okay, sounds like we're still on the same page then. Okay, cool. We'll get the dairy conversation off the table for now. So coconut oil and coconut milk are still very healthy sources of healthy fat. Where we might get into trouble with cholesterol is if you're combining that healthy fat with sugars, the dairy, and maybe other unhealthy elements. But if you're combining the coconut milk and the coconut oil with your vegetables and your organic produce, then you're going to be doing amazing. And that's, of course, just from what I can tell you through the screen. Obviously, we're not face to face. You're not one of my clients right now. So from the information that I have, I can tell you it should not affect your cholesterol levels. I hope that helps. But again, please talk to your doctor first if you're going to make any big changes.
And then is coconut oil and milk saturated fat?
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about it when we go to the dessert piece, but I will tell you, we are going to use full fat coconut milk for dessert. So if you'd be willing to hold that question to the end, I would love to address it at that point.
Okay. And then are you okay with grapeseed oil? Lots of oils.
Was the question grapeseed?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, let me say. Grapeseed oil, okay, if you can use it in a vinaigrette. It's when the temperature changes, the grapeseed oil does change chemical form and it can be interpreted as a poison to our brains. And so I don't want you cooking with grapeseed oil, but if you want to mix it up in a vinaigrette and sprinkle it, drizzle it on a salad or over some yummy veggies, that would be fine. Absolutely.
And then Mark would like to know what you think about no oil.
No oil. Okay. Well, that would be tough to mix our stir fry. Mark, would you be willing to share how would you do a stir fry with no oil? Like what would you use as an alternative? I was always saying with water. I've never tried that before. Mark is saying water or broth. Okay. I mean, I've made soups that way. You've stumped me, Mark. Good job. So yeah, if it's working for you, absolutely go for it. I will say in my research and from my physical experience and what I've worked with my clients on, when you're using a healthy fat, which is going to be your coconut oil, ghee, olive oil, avocado oil, those are going to be your healthy fats that actually are very brain supportive. And so I'm a huge fan of using oils. With that said, I absolutely respect it if you're on a different path and you're not feeling it. But also, I'm super curious if you've done a stir fry with water or broth only. I'm just very curious. So yeah, thank you for bringing this to my attention, sincerely. Okay, so if we can hold on the questions for now, just so I can concentrate on our next steps, because we just sauteed our allium, so those are still going. So the next step is we are going to add our rice. And We get all those little pieces. And then we want to spread it around to make sure it doesn't clump and that the rice is coated in this beautiful brain supportive oil as well. And or if you're working with your broth, make sure it's coated in the broth, but we do not want our rice to get dried out because then it just doesn't taste good. And I'm going for high taste and high nutrition tonight. So mix it all around. We want all the sides coated. And again, as a reminder for my friends who either are watching and or when you want to make this the next time, we want our rice chilled. So put in the fridge for probably a minimum of 2 to 3 hours before we cook with it, because that just helps the moisture to stay in the body of the grains of rice. So we'll do that for another moment. If you are going to use an egg in your stirred rice or stir-fried rice, I like to use a separate bowl to crack it because I would be horrified if one of my dinner guests fit into an eggshell. I'm going to use a separate bowl. I'm putting the full egg in there. And keep moving your rice around so it doesn't stick to your pot. And if it does, feel free to put in a little bit more oil. If you use coconut oil like I did, you can add a little more coconut. I'm also gonna add a little bit of avocado oil in a moment to kind of stir up the egg. So with that, I'm gonna make a little well in the middle for my egg. And let me see if there's anything else in the comments. Let's see. Oh, good. So you guys are having an awesome conversation about the broth, the liquid versus the oils. Good. That is community in action right there. I am loving that. So I just made a little well in the middle. Hopefully you can see that in there. So I'm going to put maybe like half a teaspoon of avocado oil. I'm going to go ahead and put my egg in. And then I'm going to break it up, and just like breakfast, if you like scrambled eggs, I'm going to scramble this egg. And because the onions are mostly cooked through, I think I can be a big girl and take the goggles off. I'm back with you. I'll put those to the side. Oh, how funny. Karen, you and I were on the same page. You said, I think she forgot. Yeah, I think we're gonna be good now. Okay, so scrambling the egg in the middle. That's really funny. And more community in action, so thank you. And now I am mixing that egg in with the rice and the onions and the garlic. Oh my gosh, this is smelling so good. I hope your kitchen too is rocking. And now we're going to add your beautiful bowl of veggies. Oh my gosh, can we just take a moment for the beautifulness of these vegetables? Okay. So I'm putting them all in, which is going to add, of course, more liquid from the veggies. That should come out. I'll put this to the side. And now we want to make sure everything is mixed together and has time and space to meld and to cook through. As you can see, I have a larger wok. You can also make this dish in like just a big skillet. Whatever works for you and your kitchen. Oh my goodness, this is gorgeous. This is one of those times where I wish I had one of those cameras that were like overhead so we could just like stare at all these gorgeous colors coming together. Okay, and so then next, we're going to add the liquids. So in the recipe, I think I said soy sauce and or tamari. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, which I'll just touch on, not open for argument, because I promise I'm not judging you. So I don't want you judging me. I will just say, from my experience and research, I believe most of us are somewhere on the spectrum of being gluten intolerant because of the way that wheat is grown and harvested these days. And so tamari is going to be our wheat-free soy sauce. Tastes exactly the same as the traditional soy sauce. So that's why I have it in this recipe. So we're adding about 3 tablespoons tamari. Then we're going to add ½ teaspoon rice wine vinegar. And this is really more for the flavor. I just love the way it kind of adds a little tang to the saltiness of the dish. We're also going to add 1 tablespoon sesame oil. This one is definitely kind of a neutral oil. It's not bad for you, doesn't necessarily have brain supportive characteristics, but it's very flavorful. So I'm just adding about, maybe a tablespoon or so from my dish tonight. And then that's it for the liquids on this one. And so now, again, I'm gonna stir to make sure all of my veggies and my rice, and for my friends who have upped me 1 level and gone with the cauli rice, again, so proud of you. We want to make sure that's in the dish right now as well. And we're going to mix that all together. This actually might be a great place if you have chopped meat protein that you wanted to add in. This would be a good time to add your meat protein. We're just going to let that cook for a minute.
So, Michelle,
Yes.
when they add the meat, so one of the questions that has been asked a couple of times is, what temperature are you cooking this on?
Awesome question. Thank you. So I have mine on medium high right now. And also with that, just want to give you a heads up, if I weren't using rice, and even the cauli rice, if I were just doing straight up stir fry, I'd probably be at more of a high temperature. If I wanted to kind of flash fry or flash saute, I would be at high. But because we're using carbs in this recipe, I'm at medium high. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, you are welcome for the info about tamari. Thanks for listening to my little 2-second rant about that one. You guys are the best. Let's see. If using tofu, how much should be added? So yeah, again, this is a good time to use a tofu. And I would really say like a handful. You can see how big this wok is right now. For this dish, I think a handful would spread around nicely. And I would chop it in like tiny kind of, I feel like I keep overusing the word bite size, but you know, tiny squares, I think would be a lovely way to have the tofu spread around this dish. Allison, have I missed any other questions at this point?
The only other one that I see is if you could just clarify the difference between cooking with extra virgin olive oil and just regular olive oil.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yes. So the extra virgin olive oil, it's going to be more sensitive because it hasn't been as processed, or actually it's opposite. It has been more processed. So with extra virgin, that is what I want to save for my vinaigrettes and or dipping my veggies in, or things that have nothing to do with heat. Otherwise, I would use the other olive oil for, sometimes I'll like sprinkle it on my cauliflower and my broccoli and bake it in the oven for like 25 to 30 minutes. And that's delicious. But I rarely, if ever, will actually fry or saute with any olive oil, because similar to grapeseed, it does change form when the heat comes in and it turns into something that's not olive oil. So just a word to the wise when you're using olive oil, because yes, it's absolutely amazing and brain supportive, just not at high heats. So use it for anything outside of a saute pan. All right, and Sherry's laughing, love it. Sayaka saying extra firm tofu. Yes, thank you for that disclaimer. Yes, if you're putting tofu in the stir fry, we want it extra firm so it's not breaking up. Like, I mean, depending on your taste buds, because actually soft could be okay, but it's not gonna look like a meat product. It's gonna look more like your scrambled egg in here. So yes, thank you for that heads up. We want extra firm. And I actually just turned the heat off of mine because I don't want my rice to get too soggy. And it looks like my veggies are starting to get soft. So I turned my heat off there. Let's see where we are in time. Oh, good. So any questions about the stir fry before we get on with dessert? And then at the end, we can taste this together. Always my favorite part. Let's see. Okay. Tangerines and soy. Oh, good. You guys are really helping each other out. I am loving this community in action. Nicely done. And for my friends who are watching the replay, hopefully you're getting some chat action as well, because there is a lot of wisdom in this room. Okay, so bring back your fruit and or just make space for it on the side. And then pull out your full fat coconut. I promised to talk about the virtues of full fat coconut milk. This is the only way I have found it so far, which is in a can. I don't love cans. However, I checked the label. It is BPA free, so we're good there. But with the full fat coconut oil, the reason why I left it in the can is because I wanted to make sure you see that anytime we're dealing with full fat, oftentimes the liquid is at the bottom and the fat raises to the top. And so I just have like a cute little spatula and I want to stir it first, because if you try to pour it out, and this is lesson learned, me the hard way, so hopefully it won't happen to you. If you try to kind of pour it out, it can like go all over the place. And so I like to stir it before I pour it anywhere. And as I was saying, the virtues of coconut milk. Full fat coconut milk. I know the word fat has been given just a rough ride over many, many years, but the research has shown that yes, healthy fat, and I stress the word healthy fat, like coconut milk and coconut oil, is absolutely brain supportive. And it is also antimicrobial. And so for my friends who might be struggling with cholesterol, again, double check with your medical professional. However, the research I have seen is that coconut milk, coconut oil should absolutely be supportive in your health goals and not getting in the way of the cholesterol issues. So I hope that helps. Okay, so I'm gonna pour about half the can in the bowl. And I think in the recipe, I said pour it in your blender. So you can do it either way. You can pour this in your blender and give it a whirl, or I have my whisk. So I'm gonna actually whisk it today. I'm gonna put in a little bit of monk fruit granules. It's a sugar alternative. Again, for my friends who might be struggling with some hormonal issues, we want to avoid sugar as much as possible. So that's why I'm using a sugar alternative. If you are choosing to use sugar tonight, of course, that is your prerogative. A few drops of stevia actually might be delicious as well. And that's another great sugar alternative. I would say if you're using 1/2 cup coconut milk with stevia, I'd probably do maybe 5 or 6 drops to get a nice level of sweetness. And also just for my A-type friends who are like, where is she going with all this? This is going to be our coconut whip that we're going to put on top of our berries. So that's what we're doing with this coconut whip. So we got a little bit of monk fruit, and then I'm looking for my, vanilla, some vanilla extract to make it a little tasty. And I like to play with extracts in like my smoothies in the morning, sometimes in the overnight oats, because extracts are another neutral food. It's not good or bad for us. It's just nice to like mix up the flavor sometimes. I'm just gonna do about a tablespoon of vanilla for flavor. And then I'm just gonna start whipping. And I see the comments going, so while I'm whipping, let's see if I can multitask. Whip and look, whip and look. That could be like a new dance video. I don't know. Let's see what we got going on. Thank you, Rach, for helping out with the egg in the middle. Yes, good job. You guys have been so amazing talking about the different types of tempeh and soy and tofu. Awesome sauce. Miso typically comes into a paste that dissolves easily. Absolutely. Love miso. Oh, yeah. Sherry's going to start doing that when she does the recipe. Good. Whip and look. Whip and look. I can tell, Sherry, you're one of my playmates. Welcome. I'm sincerely so happy you're here tonight. Let's see. Love it. All right, Allison, have I missed any other questions as I'm whipping away?
I don't think so. Sherry asked, how is miso different than tempeh and siok?
Yeah, and it would
I
absolutely.
killed that, so I apologize.
Oh, no worries. And I didn't hear what you said right before. I apologize. What'd you say?
I said, how is it different than tempeh? And then she has siok, S-E-O-K.
Yeah, looks like Siak answered the question, which I so appreciate. So yeah, so miso is a paste, while tempeh is firm like tofu. So all of them are soy products. They're all just manufactured / produced in a different form and different texture. So yes, thank you for your help with that, Siak.
And I'm understanding a little bit more. It goes so fast. I didn't realize that was like part of a conversation. And then Phyllis was asking, does monk fruit have an aftertaste like stevia?
I so love that you asked that, because I actually don't think stevia has an aftertaste. So that's why I think I might be the wrong person to ask, because I also don't think monk fruit does. But why I'm saying it that way, I did an in-person workshop last summer, and it felt like the room turned on me. They were like, no, stevia, we hate the aftertaste. I'm like, I had no idea people like had that reaction. So since then, I have learned that a lot of people do not love stevia. I have never had that pushback with monk fruit. So I say it's worth a shot, right? Like, I kept this brand out just in case somebody asked, but I really like this brand. I'm not sponsored by them, and AARP does not endorse them, but Lakanto, and I get this brand from King Soopers, Whole Foods, Sprouts, and it's a nice 1-to-1 recipe or 1-to-1 for sugar if you're baking, which is nice. And again, I don't find that it has aftertaste, so maybe you experiment and let us know if you think so. Okay, so enough of me talking. Let's get to eating. You guys have been an amazing, amazing community tonight. I just picked one of my little water cups or sparkling water cups that we use sometimes, because, with food, we want to make it appetizing for our eyes as well, right? So pick a cup that you love or a bowl. It's all good. It's still going to be delicious. We're going to just scoop in the berries, and I like to make sure I have a nice ratio of a little bit of all of it. So a little bit of strawberries, a little bit of blueberries, a little bit of raspberries, and to my lucky ones who have the blackberries, get it in there. And then our coconut whip that we just whip together, we're literally just going to put 2 or 3 drizzles on top. Whew. I'm going to do 2 for this because mine's a little juicy, more liquid. And I'm going to do a dash of cinnamon. Ooh, yum. And this is our very delicious summer delight. So let's see if I pull it out. I didn't pull out a little spoon. So I'm going to taste this. Tonight, we're going to have dessert first. How about that? So let's see how it turned out. I love it. It's like light, but then the vanilla makes it taste a little sinful and decadent because it just makes it that much tastier. So there's that. And now I'm going to taste our veggie fried rice. I'm just going to pour in a little bit in hopes that it cools off quickly because I want to try this and I don't want to burn my tongue, because when the camera goes off, I'm going to have a full bowl of this. I promise you. Mama's eating tonight. Let's see. Oh yeah, I got one of my yummy zucchini chunks. Okay, so I love it. I actually think mine needs a little bit more salt, so I'm going to put a little sea salt on this dish. If you feel like you want a little bit more saltiness, you can play around with either sea salt and or a little bit more of your tamari. And then I didn't add pepper, I just noticed, and I really like pepper. And again, chef's choice. If you don't love pepper, no worries, leave it out. And there we have it. So we've got our stir fry and our very delicious dessert. I sincerely hope you enjoy this meal tonight, and or for my friends who sat back and watched the demo and you're planning to make it hopefully for your friends over the weekend maybe. I truly hope you enjoy this. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I will double check to make sure I'm not missing anybody in the comments. Oh, yay. You guys are welcome. You are welcome.
I have a few for you.
Okay.
Really quick.
Yes.
So you do not whip. This is from Jackie. She said, so you do not whip into a firm whip. You use an immersion blender to make it more firm. Can you, I'm assuming she's saying, can you use an immersion blender to make it more firm?
Love that question. Absolutely. Yeah. So whether you're doing the handheld immersion blender or you're putting it in the, standstill Vitamix, I've had it over my shoulder, that is going to make your coconut milk a bit more firm. With that said, I will say I tried this recipe with the coconut yogurt about 2 weeks ago, and the yogurt itself is a little bit more firm, and I didn't do any whipping. I just, I like the taste of the yogurt, and so I just put the yogurt on top. So that's another alternative that you might want to try if you like the taste of plain yogurt, and or vanilla unsweetened yogurt. Coconut yogurt could be delicious.
Perfect. And then Kelly would like to know, is the testosterone neutralized when the soy is fermented?
Now that one you might want to talk to a medical professional. I specialize in women's health, specifically women over 40. So I have not done a lot around the testosterone. Although, side note, a lot of women don't know that we actually have testosterone running through our system as well. And that definitely plays into balance with our estrogen and our progesterone, which can oftentimes cause the hot flashes and the night sweats. And so when I talk about hormone balancing in general, that's pretty much it in general. So we want the blackberries, which are hormone balancing. We want the green foods that are full of fiber that are going to help our digestive tract stay moving, which of course is going to help us to balance our hormones. And then of course we want to avoid stimulants like sugar and caffeine. And so that's my general, advice I could say, or offering I would share to help us keep our hormones balanced.
So, and then here's like a super interesting question from Peg. She said, since everyone is using cottage cheese now for recipes, could you throw some cottage cheese into the blender to remove the curds instead of the coconut milk?
Ooh. You could, and that sounds absolutely delicious. I will say again, I don't love the idea of dairy products. If you can find me a cottage cheese made out of coconut milk or even goat's milk, then I will be your #1 fan. But as long as it's cow's milk, that is going to still be inflammatory. So if at all you can avoid it, that would be my recommendation.
All right, I think that's all of the questions that I see. But we do have a lot of people asking what's next.
I love it. You guys get the happy dance because I would love to have you back. And so 2 of the next classes, we will be back here. Well, back here in the house, but back there in my office on September 7th. It'll be our Let's Chat Nutrition workshop. So September 7th at 7 p.m. Mark your calendar. We will talk about how to cook for one, meaning ways that we can make it more fun, ways that we can save more money, and ways to keep you motivated if you are in fact cooking for one, because I want you to have just as much nutrition and fun in the kitchen as for my friends who are cooking for families. So that's September 7th. And then we'll be back here in the kitchen, October 5th at 6:30 p.m. And we're going to make shrimp scampi and some garlic nuts. And if you were paying attention earlier, then you know these garlic nuts will likely be gluten-free and delicious. So I'm super excited to have that class with you all as well.
Absolutely. And then I put the registration for our Let's Chat Nutrition into the chat, but don't worry if you missed it. It will also come in your thank you email, as will another copy of the recipe and the recording of this session, so you can watch it over and over and over again. Relive the fun. And then we will work on getting that October Eating for More Energy up on our calendar. And if you guys are from out of state, all of these events will be on the virtual community center from AARP. And if you are in Colorado, you can find them all on the AARP Colorado event calendar too.
I'm excited.
Okay. So where can we watch the hormone nutrition event?
That would be the replay from last September, right? Or excuse me, from July.
Yeah. You know what? If you would like to watch that, you can email me. I will put my email in the chat, and feel free to email me and just let me know that you would like a copy of that replay, and I will send it to you. All right. With that being said, you guys have been absolutely incredible. So much fun tonight. Thank you all for being here. Michelle, thank you just for being you and just keeping us healthy every month and showing us new ways to improve our nutrition. It's always so much fun. And we will see you all next time. Thank you.
Thank you all. And thank you, Allison.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Good night.